This video is for 6th graders doing the pond activity. What I'd like you to do is find your app portal, click on it, and then you want to install this app right here, the Autodesk Sketchbook. When you click install, it will put it onto your iPad, and that's the app we'll be using. So I'm going to head over to the app. What you want to do is you want to start off with this top button here. Click that. You'll get these 4 options. I want you to click New Sketch. And then you want to make sure you click right here so that you have what's called a landscape layout, where it's kind of like a laid down rectangle versus up and down. When you finish that, click Create and zoom out a little bit. So if you see a rectangle look like this, you are doing it right. All right, so you should have already downloaded the 4 images: the pond, the tire, the water bottle, and the candy wrapper. What we want to do is we want to bring in the picture of the pond and eventually put in all the other objects and make them look like they're floating in the pond. We thought about environmental activities with the artists that we looked at in class, different things that hurt the environment and how artists show that. This is just an activity for you to practice those skills. Along the top, you can see this right here. It looks like a little mountain range. If I click that, it imports or brings in a picture from my photos. I'm going to click on the pond. I'm going to take my 2 fingers and zoom in so that those white bars are taken care of and they're out of there, and click Done. Next, we want to put in something like the water bottle or the candy wrapper or the tires. I'm going to do the candy wrapper. So stick in my candy wrapper. So it looks like a big white rectangle with candy wrapper on it. I'm going to click Done for right now. And then off to the left here, you have 2 buttons. You want to try those out. You can try to just change the size. Down here, you want to make sure this is set to 100. I clicked in this little area here and I got my library of tools. I want to click the hard eraser, which is right here. Square. This one erases the most clean. Now at this point, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to check my size. I'm going to erase all of this white by rubbing my finger or my stylus over it. Something you notice is this white box with the crunch bar wrapper is highlighted in blue. That means I'm working on that picture and not my pond. If I were to have the pond outlined in blue, then you would be erasing the trees and things, and that's not what we want. So with your big eraser, get the majority of the white out, and then what we'll do is we'll change the size of the eraser to get the rest of it taken care of. Going here. Getting really close, but not erasing. If you do happen to make a mistake, you can hit this back button right there, and it fixes things by putting back your last action. Oop, just like that. I clipped the edge. Don't want that. All right, so I'm pretty close here. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to really zoom in here and get all of this cleaned up. If you go from side to side, you can get nice and close without messing anything up. For this activity, you do get points for carefully erasing the outline and not erasing part of your candy bar. Too much. Oops, my mistake. That's okay. close in here, maybe make it a little smaller. I really want to do a nice job and get all that white gone so it doesn't show up in my final picture. All right, so I've taken care of all the white. Here we go. All right, the next thing you want to do is you want to resize it. Along the top, there is this button that looks like 4 arrows. If you click that, you take your 2 fingers, you can make it bigger, smaller. Think about things that are close to you should be bigger, things that are smaller are farther away. Crunch wrappers are pretty small anyway. After I resize it, I'm going to click this button right here, and this allows me to kind of reshape it to make it a little bit more flat as if it's floating. I'm going to click done. All right, and then we have 2 more steps to finish this up. I'm going to go ahead and click over here on my layer, and then you'll find where it says HSL adjustment. Click that. You'll get 3 toolbars. Ignore this top one and focus on here. Because your crunch bar is underneath trees in the shade, we want to pull down the saturation, which makes the colors less vibrant, and decrease the lightness so it looks like it's in the shade. When you're happy with it, it looks kind of realistic, click done. And then the last thing we want to do, zooming in with my 2 fingers, is erase part of this so that it looks like it's actually in the water. The way I do this is, I'll move this out of the way. I'm going to go over here and hit the opacity. I'm going to move this down to 30%. Okay. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to have the bottom portion of this kind of tucked into the water. I'm just doing one swipe. Can you see how it erases part of it, but not all of it? So it gives the idea that there is a little bit of a reflection from the water because part of it is submerged. All right. So at this point, my crunch wrapper is done, and then I would do the tire with all the same steps, and then the water bottle with all the same steps. So you should end up with 3 pieces of trash in your water, and this would be great to talk about water pollution, but for right now we're just practicing the skills. All right, thank you for watching.